Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt the need to prove something? Maybe you straightened your posture, adjusted your tone, or even changed what you were going to say just to seem more confident, more likable, more acceptable. I used to do that all the time. Not because I lacked things to say, but because I wasn't sure who I was saying them for, me or the people I was trying to impress. It took me years to understand that what I was chasing wasn't confidence, it was validation. And those two things, while often confused, come from completely different places. Confidence is quiet. Validation needs an audience. I remember being in a conversation once, in a group of people I respected, and someone challenged my opinion. I wasn't even upset about the disagreement, but what followed surprised me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Hours later, I was rehearsing comebacks in my head, imagining how I should have replied. I wasn't trying to learn from the moment, I just wanted to win it, to not look weak, to feel seen. That night I asked myself, why was it so hard to let go? Psychologist Carl Rogers once said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." But the truth is, I hadn't accepted myself. I only accepted myself when others did first. Many of us were raised to earn approval through grades, through behavior, through achievements. So, naturally, we learn to link our self-worth to external responses. When people like us, we feel worthy. When they don't, we question everything. This mindset, over time, can trap us in a loop. We stop doing things because they're meaningful. We do them to be seen. But here's the shift. Confidence doesn't come from being seen. It comes from being rooted in who you are, even when no one is watching. True confidence is built in solitude, not the spotlight. There's a study from the University of Mannheim that found people with high self-esteem respond less emotionally to social rejection. Not because they don't feel it, but because their self-view isn't entirely dependent on others' opinions. Their validation is internal, not borrowed. One day, I was watching a musician play in a small cafe. The crowd was barely paying attention, but he kept playing with his eyes closed, lost in the music. It didn't seem to bother him that no one clapped after his song. He smiled quietly, packed up, and left. That image stayed with me for weeks, because in a world addicted to applause, he didn't need any. That's what confidence looks like. Dr. Brené Brown puts it this way: true belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. But to be who you are without performance, without pretense, you have to first believe that who you are is enough. So how do you start? First, you have to notice when you're performing. Pause and ask, would I still say this, do this, wear this, if nobody ever praised me for it? That simple question is a mirror, and the answer can be confronting. Second, stop outsourcing your worth. Validation isn't toxic, it's natural to want connection. But when your mood rises and falls based on how someone else responds to you, that's not connection, it's dependency. Build rituals that remind you of your value: journaling, mindfulness, daily reflection. These are not cliches. These are the tools that slowly shift your center of gravity inward. You can also practice something called self-affirmation theory, studied by psychologist Claude Steele. It involves consciously reminding yourself of your core values, what matters most to you. Even writing about your beliefs for a few minutes a day has been shown to reduce stress and increase self-worth. Third, be careful whose opinions you give power to. Not every voice deserves your energy. As Epictetus once said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. That's the price of real growth, not being understood all the time. And finally, celebrate your quiet wins. Confidence grows in the private victories. Choosing calm when you could lash out, walking away when your ego wants to fight, staying true when fitting in would be easier. These moments won't trend, but they will transform you. We often think confidence has to be loud, that it's in the speeches, the social media posts, the assertive opinions. But true confidence isn't volume, it's alignment. It's when your actions match your values, even when no one is watching. Confidence isn't being the loudest in the room, it's being the calmest. It's the ability to sit with your truth and not feel the need to shout it, to know your worth without making someone else small, to walk into a space and not look around for approval because you brought your own. There's a deep kind of strength in the people who don't constantly announce their worth because they've made peace with it. They don't need applause to know they're doing well. They don't need agreement to stay grounded. They know who they are, and that's enough. And ironically, the less you need validation, the more respect you often earn, because people are drawn to presence, not performance. Presence doesn't demand attention, it holds it. And that kind of quiet self-belief is unforgettable. So if you've spent your life chasing approval, let this be your reminder, you don't have to anymore. There's nothing to prove when you've already accepted yourself. Confidence isn't about becoming someone else, it's about coming home to yourself. And maybe today that journey begins with one silent, powerful decision: I am enough, even without an audience. If this story spoke to something inside you, maybe it's time to stop chasing approval and start choosing peace. Subscribe for more stories that help you feel understood and remind you that becoming okay is more than enough. Thank you for watching.